market update. Let's just look, because now I'm curious. We're going to log into Command and take a peek at Command to see what kind of market update posts they have in there, to see if this is where she got it from or she snagged it from someplace else.
I think she probably bought it like on Etsy. I have a few of those that I have purchased on Etsy too.
Oh, nice. So yeah, Etsy is a good resource for stuff like that. Canva, you can create posts for free. You don't have to pay for Canva. Some of the graphics on there you do have to pay for, but for the most part, you can get in there and use all their free stuff. So, and it's got graphics and fonts and pre-made stuff that you can just go in there and update and make it pretty and nice and then save it. So I'm in designs right now, just looking. So we're going to go create design and social media and continue. And then we're going to wait really patiently while it opens. All right. So I'm just looking. Business basics, holidays. Just looking to see if there was any. I don't see anything magical that says like market update. So so you'd have to create it, but the play, and maybe if I did more digging I could find something, but the way that you would locate this is inside berries. There was also a question earlier this week about dues. So just so you know, in case you're ever curious about the dues, through the berries right here, this membership, this is where you would pay or set up your auto pay for your berries dues. You can't see future billings, but it is billed once a quarter and the amount's the same each quarter. So just a heads up on that. And you can get copies of past invoices if you needed that for any reason. That is not the same as the $750 or whatever it was for your Association of Realtors dues that was due by January 1st. If you haven't paid that, you should probably make sure you take care of that before the end of the month, because then here shortly, if they haven't already, they assess a late fee to it. And with that one, there's a bunch of optional fees. You don't have to pay anything that says optional. So there's like one fee you pay and the rest are all optional. And it's really annoying because if I open up my account now, it still says I have a balance due. It's just obnoxious.
Oh my gosh, Amy. I struggled with that, and it kept showing a balance and I freaking paid one of the optional, I think maybe one or two, and I was like, this says optional, and I kept reading it, but because it's my first time, I ended up paying more than I had to. So you're saying only pay the one deal and just disregard all of these optional. I think there's like 6 or 7 optional in there. So
yeah, just click those boxes.
It was like $60
and I had
extra
done
dollars.
that, but then it kept showing, like I unclicked everything and then I got another bill or some kind of, I don't know what it was. I mean, it showed up in berries.
So
or somewhere, I don't know if it was in NASCAR.
So if it showed up in berries, it was probably your berries dues. So if your card's not set up to auto pay, then that one, it's like $114. That one you should pay.
Well, I paid that one. It wasn't NSCAR. It wasn't NSCAR.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
So if you go into the Northern Solano Association of Realtors, which you need your stupid national ID number, so you can search for that. Just, you know, write it down, put it on your phone someplace, because this NAR ID comes into play like twice a year, and you know, it's really frustrating. You can't find it. But see, it says this balance is $79. And it's all voluntary. So we have our voluntary realtor action fund, our CF voluntary, our HAF voluntary, our car. those you don't have to pay. So there's only one thing that you had to do.
Okay. I think that's what caught me off guard was it was showing a balance. And I was like, wait, I thought I paid everything.
Yeah, you only
So
need
just
the
the dues.
2022 DR dues billing, which has your local,
Yeah.
your state, and your national.
Perfect.
Okay,
Live and
I'm-
learn.
It's crazy, man. They get you because like last year when I joined in August, like my dues were like $700 and something, and then that was in August, and then in January it was 700 something also.
yeah, so when you join, they prorate the fees for the year, but then you also get hit with like a orientation fee or your startup fees, which is like 250 or $300. So they add that on top. But yeah, so this little thing here, eventually this past due will go away. I think it goes away at the end of this month, but just know that if you've got a little balance, it shows red and it looks scary, just ignore it.
Thanks. That's awesome.
You're welcome. I think the first year that I think I also paid too much. I paid some of the voluntary, and then I called like the next year and I was like, what are all these fees? Like, what are they for? And are they required? And they're like, oh no, you don't have to do that. It's like, then why are they on here? All right. So to pull stats and trends, right? Those market stats. So when you look at Heather's post, she has like new listings for the month of January, the average list price, number coming soon. I probably wouldn't put like a number coming soon there only because this was like partway through the year or partway through the month. And it's not like we've had 50 coming soon this month. That was just at this moment. We have one coming soon. So I would probably put like total homes on the market, or I don't know, I'd find something else. But anyway, so we need average list price, average sales price, new listings, days on market, and homes sold. So in order to track down that information, there's a couple of ways to do it. The one way is to go into trends. Right there at the top of berries, there's a trends button. From here, you can look up information. So like we got berries. We're gonna go, I'm gonna select Solano County down here. And then I'm going to say hers was only for Vacaville. So just for the sake of comparing it, I'm going to come down here into the cities, which are alphabetical, and find Vacaville, which requires me to know my alphabet. Getting close. All right, Vacaville. And you can narrow it down by zip code. You can narrow it down like all residential properties, right? So this has all residential. You could be like, I don't care about the lots. I just want single family homes. So I'm just going to go all single family homes because I don't care about like lots and stuff, right? And then you can select your range. Now for this trends, it's only going to go to the previous month. It won't do the current month. Okay. So it just does the current month. So once you select those, you hit show chart down there at the bottom. And then it updates the chart. So this will show through December. So if I want to know, like on here, we had our average list price. Oh, hold on. I just got to find my window again. Poof.
While you're looking for that, this might be a dumb question, but when we were on the call on Tuesday, Mark said that there's a button on the Berries homepage that you can click for all new home builds. Has that always been there?
There is. Yep. We can jump over to that here in a little bit. I'll show you where that button is. It's really convenient because you can search all the new homes in the area by size and price and everything. So it's kind of fun. All right, so here is the trends. So this is average price for sale versus sold. For sale versus sold, this just says the number of units. So let's look at, if we go to the drop down, oh no, wait, hold on. Average price. So we're gonna hop over on the tabby to add average price. And this has for sale versus sold. You could go median price there, average prices and median prices. This has it all. So it just depends. So remember, your average price is we take all the homes that have sold or all the homes on the market and we divide it by that, and we add them all up and we divide it by that number of homes. That's how we get the average, versus the median is there were 301 homes sold in Vacaville in the month of December, and the one in the middle, number 151, sold at this price if you put them in order. So, right, your median is the middle and your average is a combination of all of them. So if we looked at, and it does spell it out down here. So our median sold price for December was 595,000. Our average active was 792,000, and our average sold price, right, median versus average, was 617,000. So that would be how to get some of that information from the previous month. If we were going to do an update at the beginning of January for December of how December closed out, that's how you could, that's one way that you could pull it. If you look at the tabby, like this one is days on market. So this tells us that the average days on market in December was 35, which was another one of her little numbers, like days on market, right? Average days on market is 35. New listings. So if we come up here, we could do, I think under months inventory, but let's look. Nope. All right, we're going to come to for sale versus sold and new listings. We may not be able to pull, oh yeah, we can. So for sale versus new listings. So in December in Vacaville, there was 48 new listings. So that's how we pull it up there for new listings. You won't be able to pull coming soon in the trends, and then homes sold. You would come up to this one and go for sale sold. And in December, we sold 116 houses. Okay, so does that make sense how you can kind of toggle around that graph and find your numbers? So you can just kind of,
that's cool.
yeah, so you can play with that.
Pulled hers weekly off of the main base.
Yeah, so for a weekly update, what you can do.
Amy, before you move on to that one, so like with this one that you're showing, because it's like we're looking at the month of December, could we do like how would you word that if you wanted to use that report too? Like, you know, the monthly, like, you know, or whatever, like how would you label that instead of
Yeah, so maybe like on a market update, maybe you're going to do a market update once a week. So maybe your first one, or the first of the month, you do the previous month. So you'd go in there and be like, here's how December closed out, right? And so, and then you could put, there were, you know, the average days on market was 35. The average list price was 792. The average sold price was 657. There were 116 homes sold and 68 new listings came on the market, right? So you could fill in all those bubbles from that to just do a summary of how the whole month closed out.
Got it.
Versus the weekly. So if we wanted to pull this information here for the weekly information, then we go back into berries, and you would do, this would be a good thing for like a hot sheet. So there's different types of searches. I normally use like the map or the standard search, which you could totally pull it up that way. But one of the ways is to go into hot sheets. So we're going to do a hot sheet search. And the hot sheet allows us to go changes from certain dates, which is kind of fun, right? So if I do a normal search, it's going to give me real time today, how many homes are on the market, how many show up is coming soon, how many closed, right? You can get that. But this one allows us to go back. So let's say that today is the 26th of January. So maybe I'm going to do this update every Wednesday. So maybe I want the 19th on the start date through the 25th, right? So maybe I would just want to go a week at a time. Like, how did we finish off last week? We're going to go 11/19 at 12:01 a.m. and we're going to end at 11:59 p.m. Right? And then you can come on and go, okay, well, how many new listings hit the market? So I'm just going to leave new listings on there. And then I'm going to come down and I want just Vacaville. So now I know that this last week, there were 22 new listings that came on the market. Right? If I wanted to go back to the beginning of January, then I could just come back here and go January 1st. And now there's been 87 new homes that have come on the market in the month of January. Right? Now let's say that instead of new listings, I want closed. So now I can click the box for closed. And there have been 75 closed sales in the month of January. Okay. Or maybe I want to know, well, how many are contingent or pending in January? We just click those and we can say there's been 122 properties that have gone contingent. Right? If we only have, what did we have? 87 new listings come on the market and we had 112 go pending. That's going to create problems for our inventory, right? There's more going pending than are coming on the market. So you may want to keep track of that. If you wanted to figure out what the average price was, so maybe we want to look back at those closed sales.
That's a
Now,
question.
yeah.
Could you combine, I know contingent pendings are different, but could you combine them together and say something, or would you have to show that one's contingent and one's pending?
I would combine them into one.
Into pendings?
Yeah, I would just combine them all into pending or under, I call them under contract probably.
Contract. Okay, that's good. Okay.
Because the general public doesn't know a difference between contingent and pending. It's the same thing. They've got an accepted offer. I would just call it under contract and wrap them together.
Okay.
So here I went back to close. So close transactions from January 1st to January 25th. Remember, you can take any fraction of time. So we could go a week, we could go the month to date, however you want to do that. If we hit view results, it's going to pull up those properties. And this is one that maybe you want to like identify just single family. Here, hold on. Let's just for kicks. So we can come back and you can, it's got residential clicked here right now. So we may be like, well, it eliminates land. So if you unchecked it, it would include all types of properties. Here is just residential. So anything with a house on it that's residential under 4 units, right? So there, we're going to include that. So now we're going to hit view results again, which is going to take us to our results. If we now, because we needed that average price or the median price. So we click on this button up here. There we go, where it selects all 75 listings. If you select this button here, it's only going to select the one page. And if you select this button up here, it selects all 75, just so you kind of know the difference. And then we can come over here and go statistics right here across the top of the page. Now it's going to pull up those stats for those 75 closed sales. So now you can come down and look at the average days on market. So we have average, median, maximum. So our average days on market is 28. Our average closed price is 608,000 versus our median price, which is 590.
Amy, I'm so sorry. I looked down and I missed the click. Where'd you do to get to that page, please?
So once I selected all the listings, I just clicked stats at the top.
That's
So right here, when you're on this page, right here at the top, next to map and add to cart, there's statistics.
perfect.
You just click on that and you could pull up any active listings. So you could, I'll show you how to do that here in a minute, but there's 74 closed transactions. The average list price, right, was 599,000 and the average closed price was 608,000 with an average days on market of 28. Okay. These should, because they're all closed. Oh, there you go. So this just breaks it down further. So like days on market, how many closed 0 to 30, how many closed 31 to 60, 61 to 90, right? So it's just showing you, it just breaks it down a little further. So there's how you pull that. Now let's say that instead of closed listings, I want all the new listings on the market. We could go back to revised criteria. And instead of closed, we could go, we want all the new listings that have come on the market during this time period, and then hit view results. Here are the 87 new listings, and you can see that it pulls because these properties came on the market during that time. Even if they're under contract or even if they're closed, they're still going to show up as new properties that came on the market during that time frame. So then what you'd want to do is select the top one. So it selects all 87 listings. And again, you hit statistics. And this is going to give you the stats for all the new listings that came on the market. So new listings that came on the market in the month of January. The average list price is $670,000. The average sold price for those that came on the market in January is $708,000. The average days on market right now is 9. The days on market isn't going to be as accurate because it's taking properties that aren't in contract yet, properties that aren't closed yet. So your days on market is going to be better to look at closed listings. And same thing here with your closed prices. You really want to look at what's closed versus what's on the market. But you may want to look at this list price, like what's the average list price of properties hitting the market this month versus last month, right? Because that's going to be a good indicator of where how the market's moving. So there's those stats for Mila has a question.
Thank you. Good morning.
You could have interrupted me.
Oh, okay. Can you explain to me what's the difference? Me and Heather was trying to figure this out this morning. We were looking at a listing, and then you have the original price, the listing price, and the sold price. Can you explain that to me? Because I think what I explained was correct, but I'm not for sure.
Yeah. So your original price is what did it come on the market as?
Mm-hmm.
So, right. And then if they did any price increases or price decreases, that's going to be the listed price. So when it went into contract or when what it's currently on the market at is its listed price. So if we were started at 600,000 and then we didn't sell because it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom that should have never been listed at 600,000, then we had to do a price reduction. Then your original price would be 600,000 and your listed price may be 550,000.
Okay.
And then your sold price is going to be whatever actually closed that.
Okay. Okay.
You're awesome, Mila.
Stop it, Heather. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Can I talk to that? So, because sometimes I'll see things listed and then you'll see it go into contract and then they change the price to meet the price of the contract. Okay.
Yes, they do. Some agents do that. It does not serve a purpose. The only thing that it would serve the purpose of is, let's say that it fell out of contract and you had already matched to the contract. So now when it comes back on the market, it may not come back on the market because it may have been more than a week out. So it's not going to show as a price increase. It'll just show as the price that you were in contract on because you're hoping to put it back in contract at that same price. Appraisers are smarter than that. So they look at the sales history. So they know what it was listed at. And in fact, you almost make a better case for yourself if it was listed at 650 and it shows up on the MLS as 650, you're in contract at 675, because now you've made your case that we got multiple offers over asking, like this justifies it, versus we got one offer and we were listed at 675. If you do that price increase, I don't know the value in doing that. And maybe somebody else can shed more insight on that in your lives at some point that says that, oh yeah, you should absolutely do that. I've yet to see a reason to be able to do that and make it make sense.
Like they're cheating the system. Yeah. No, I feel like they're cheating when they do that. Like it's not, how it's supposed to be, Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't matter, but I wouldn't do it. I don't do it.
I was wondering the same thing, like, because like sometimes I'll see a house like at 600,000 and then it's like at 595 or something. And it's like, why do they even change it? But like, it's gone, you know, it's just pending. So I'm like, why do they even change it? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, except that I've talked with a couple different appraisers about it, and they say that it doesn't serve a purpose on their end of things. So the only thing I could see is if you were going to come back on the market, if it fell out of contract, you were going to come back on the market, then you'd be coming back at contract price, hoping to put it back in the same spot that it was previously. But buyers and agents, they're smart people these days. They're not, even buyers are looking back at the property history and being like, well, it came on the market at 650. Now it's listed at 690. Like, it just came back on the market. They don't have any other offers. I'm going to offer back at what the original price was. Like, buyers aren't stupid. Whereas if you came back on the market at where you were originally listed, chances are you're going to pull multiple offers again. I don't know. So yeah, but that's why they do that.
Okay, so while you're on berries, would you be able to pull one of your like big clients that you have, one of your contacts on berries, and change the map? You know how you were saying, like, instead of adding the code, the city code for that specific area of Vacaville or wherever, if you could somehow show us like how to change the map when you already have the clients on it. And I apologize for this.
All right, so okay, I have a map search set up, my first home. So if you come into here, you just hit revise criteria. All right, there are my map searches set up for this client. Let's say that they no longer wanted to be over in this Browns Valley area. We would just click edit.
So this is if you have set up a map search, not a standard search then.
Oh, so are you asking how you would switch it from like a standard search to a map search?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess, I mean, because I didn't know. I always do a standard search. So I wasn't sure when you were like, oh yeah, you can just like do the map search. And so I got confused because I'm like, well, when I go and I revise my criteria, I don't see any of this.
Yeah. So let's go back. All right, so the easiest way to do that, because there's not a good way to go from like a standard search to a map search. I was trying to think if you actually could. Now I'm curious. So let's go. I have a standard search here. So let's go revise criteria. I'm just curious. And then instead of here, I'm going to hit search, view results. All right, so now I have, oh no, I went too far. I've gone too far. Oh wait, right there, hold on. Okay, right here where it says revise criteria, I'm just gonna play around with it and see. So if I go from here on the revised criteria to map view, nope. All right, so the only way to do that would be to come down here to your searches, and there's a little button here that says on or off. I would just turn off the one that you originally set up just by unchecking it. And then I would hit add a search and go right here is where you would select map versus standard on the search type. And then be like Travis Unified School District and hit submit. And now it's going to pull up that map, and then you can reset up your criteria here. So like, you could go draw, and I'd be like, I want Travis Unified. So I want these and these. And come down Peabody. And over here. And up. Oh, there's probably some more over here. Oh, no, I think I got them all.
Thank you for asking. And this is awesome. Thank you.
And then I could go right here to my search criteria. And this is where I could go in there and be like, I just want active properties and coming soon. We just want single family residences. I don't want any condos or half plexes. And I hit okay. My buyers wanted 3 bedrooms. And they want at least 2 bathrooms. And we don't care what city it's in because we really just want a Travis Unified School District, which covers both Fairfield and Vacaville.
Amy, there's nothing on the screen. I just see black.
Oh, that's sad.
Is anybody else see that or?
No, I can see her now.
We'll reshare. Yeah. All right. So, so then that's probably like, maybe if you were gonna, we want like 2 garage spaces. So that's in there. So now we can hit close. Now we've got that search set up, and then I can go, hey, we want to send those listings to the prospects cart. And now it's going to save that search for the prospect. So now that's going to be the new search. And anytime that you set up a new search, if you're like, oh, darn it, now it's got all these, the new ones, number one, are checked. But let's say that you're like, well, that's too, I don't want all those listings. They don't want those other ones. We can just come in here and check this box here. And we can go like this. We can go remove checked listings. And now my agents or my clients box is now completely empty. So if I go back and click on the client's name again and come back down here to this new search, I'm going to turn it on and hit run. Now, when I hit add to prospects cart, now their cart's going to be cleaned up so that only those properties fall into their cart rather than having the entire city of Vacaville, which was set up previously. If you take the listings and you go move and you go to rejected and then you run the search again, these properties aren't going to show up because they're already in their rejected. So if I went rejected here and then went back, apparently I don't have auto prospecting on because it
Question.
keeps kicking me off. Yes.
How do you know that those went out to them?
So usually if I run a new, so usually what I do is here, let me turn it on because I had auto prospecting turned off on me. So it keeps turning me off and I'm going to hit run. So it didn't say any new listings. It just pulls up the search. Like normally it would say there's 5 new listings. So let's, just for kicks, I'm going to.
Typically when you run your search and if there's like 5 listings, when you click on the listings, you can't actually look at them, right? It'll ask you if you want to send the email to the client before you actually view them, or else you just have to hit like save for later or like email later. And if that's the case, how do you go back in there to actually email it when you decide that you want to email it to them?
Yeah, so now I just threw another little box. So I have some new listings pop up. So now I'm going to hit add to prospects cart. And then so those new listings came up. Remember those ones that I sent to the rejected, they didn't come back up. They're still sitting out there and rejected. So just be careful with that. So now, so normally if I set up a new search and it doesn't say, do you want to email these to the client? Then I'm just going to come in here and select them and then come up to email and go shoot those out, client 1 page, submit. And then it's automatically going to pull up because I'm inside of that client's profile. It's automatically going to pull up their email for you. And then you may want to revise this and be like, hey, I fixed your search for you. So it's only pulling properties from Travis Credit or Travis school district, here's those new listings in the Travis School District that are currently available, and then shoot it off to them, send that email out. When you set up a new search, so if it's a brand new search and you throw some new listings in there, it'll automatically ask you if you want to send that to the client. But if you're revising a search or messing with stuff, you actually have to select those listings and then send that email out. Now to address the issue that, oh, we threw them, instead of throwing them away, I threw them into rejected, but I still want them to show up. That was a mistake. I want those properties to show up in my client's portal. We just come back over to rejected. We're going to check them and hit remove. So remember, you want to get rid of those out of their cart completely. So now if I've removed those, now when I come back, hit run on this search, and then hit add listings to prospects cart. Now those are going to be counted as new listings and they show back up. So I have the original 5 plus the 2 additional ones there in their cart. And then if I wanted to make sure these went out to the client, then again, I can just click the email button there to send them out.
Okay, I'm glad you answered that, because when I was in here and I was trying to get rid of them, I ended up just rejecting them, but I could mark them and go up to remove. Okay,
Yeah.
And then when I remove them completely, they won't show up anymore. But if I want to reject them and not completely remove them, I would put them in rejected. But if I want to completely remove them, I just remove them.
Yeah, so if you want them, so you would move them to rejected. Like, let's say that you went out and saw 3 of these properties and they're like, no, those won't work. And then you would move those to rejected because you don't want them to pop back up and they're newly matched. They're gone. They're
Okay.
off the radar. They didn't work. They don't match. It's not a good fit.
Oh, I
Those
see.
you want rejected. If you're trying to get them to show back up in the client's cart, then you'd want to remove them completely. And then when the search runs again, it'll consider
Oh,
matches.
I see. I see. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, so that would be different. So like sometimes I'll throw a search together and then it'll pull up like the homes over in Leisure Town. I'll be like, darn it, I didn't turn off the senior community or whatever. So I may delete all the listings, go back in, update the search criteria to exclude senior housing, and then rerun it. Or I might just take those and throw those in the rejected so that the client never sees them in the newly matched.
Okay.
And then they never show back up again if I don't want to revise.
And then is there, when you're doing a search, is there a button for senior housing if you're looking for senior housing in the very search? Okay.
Yeah, so anytime, so I'm just going to go back in here to this. Oops, I went back too far. I swiped with 2 fingers, darn it. Sometimes I love a Mac and sometimes I don't. All right, I'm just going to go back up here to the standard search and hit revise criteria. It is hiding somewhere in here. Nope. Oh, that's interesting.
I think that'd be so useful to
Yeah,
know that,
okay, hold on.
have that criteria.
I'm just going to go into a new standard search because that one doesn't seem to have my options. Right here, it says senior community.
Oh, okay.
Here at the
And that's
top.
what I've been doing, running standard searches.
Yep, and you can either go no or yes.
Okay, that's
So no
awesome.
would be we don't want any in a senior community, and these would be yes, we want senior.
Including the senior. And then, because I haven't been using the hot sheet throughout my practice, I've been using the standard search. So what's the main difference? Is the hot sheet just a quicker search with criteria, being able to toggle with dates, and then
Yes,
the
so
listing
you're
closed pending?
so for most your searches, you're going to use that standard search, or like I said, I really like the map search as well. So those are my 2 main searches. The benefit of the hot sheet is the hot sheet allows you to go back in time. So if we're pulling market stats or something like that, then the hot sheet comes into play, because then I can go back and be like, what new properties came on the market? Or maybe I've got a client, I want to go back and see, hey, what came on the market this week that might match their criteria? What did we miss out on while I was on vacation? Like whatever it is, you can go back in history.
Okay.
It doesn't just sort by like what's currently active. It would go, if I wanted all new listings in the last week, it would pull even those that are under contract.
All right. Nice. Thanks.
It's just a little easier.
Can I, before you get off of this page, can I ask about the senior community? Is there a way that we can edit the age? Like, I'm looking for a mobile home for a young lady who qualifies for the senior community that's 55 and up, but not the 65 and up. Is there a way we can just hone in on just the 55 and up?
They should all be 55 and up.
All senior communities?
Should be, at least in this area. I think that's kind of the restriction, is that you have to kind of be in that range. But as far as I know, all the senior communities, at least in this area, are all 55 and up.
In the mobile home parks as well?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I also want to, Mila, I mean, your client's probably looking soon, but I wanted to say that here in Dixon, there's going to be a new senior community. I believe it's seasoned by Richmond American off of West A. There's going to be a beautiful 55 and up senior housing.
Oh, that was
If you want to keep there, you can let her know.
Thank you,
That's
Martha,
so
but we're
great.
looking in Contra Costa County, but thank you so much. I'll
For
keep that
sure.
in mind.
That's so crazy that senior is 55 and up. That's not even so, it's not even old. I feel like it's not even old, and they make it seem like 55 is old.
It's not a senior community. Technically, it's active adult.
There you go.
Oh, yes, that's
That makes
right.
me
I
feel
mean, I
better.
think they even say that on that active
I'm
adult.
like, how is 55 senior? Like, that's not even old.
If you were doing the map search and you wanted senior to come up, just know that it may not show up on your map search, and that's where you'd go to that fields button. Go down and find it. It's alphabetical, so you should be able to go down to senior, which would be an S. Nope.
What button was that?
That was
So
under
I'm in the
fields. Oh, I already have it in.
field.
Yeah, so cancel. Hold on.
Okay.
So when you're in here, so your map search has limited fields listed. It doesn't have the full
Mhm.
gamut of everything you get in a standard search. So it has, I already have senior community pulled up here. So I would be like, hey, I just want senior community. That would eliminate everything else. But if it didn't exist, you would go into fields, and then you could go down here and select whatever the field is that you
Oh, I
want.
see.
Like maybe I want something creative here. I want nothing seems that exciting. The roof. I want to be able to select only, my client has a fear, they only want metal roofs. So I'm going to select add here. We select that category, hit add. And now I hit save. Then when I go back to my fields at the bottom, it'll have roof type. So now I can go in there and be like, I only want metal roofs. Right. And then if you're like, oh, I don't really want that, that was an accident, then we just come back to the fields button. We hit selected fields. We scroll down to roof and hit remove. And then hit save, and that'll update your list. And that list, once you hit save, every time you pull up the map search, those items will be on there.
The standard search doesn't have single story or 2-story on there, right? We would have to add that on there.
On
Just like how you did.
yeah, so on a map search, it wouldn't normally show up stories, days on market. I think all of this is probably added by me at some point. So yeah, so you go in there and add.
Okay.
Okay. The other question that was asked was about the new home search on Berries. So if you go to your Berries homepage right here, where you have your Berries Plus, you also have this new home source professional. That's new construction home. So if you click on that link, it's going to open up a search for your new home community. So in here, you could be like city, Vacaville, California. Maybe I don't want to limit that. I could just hit search. And here it's going to pull up all the new home communities in Vacaville and the different plans. So it's super handy and nice. It gives you the builder contact information, all sorts of fun things.
So typically, do people register themselves as an agent at the different new home builds? Or, I mean, only if like your client is going to go in and
Yeah, there's really no benefit to like registering yourself because you got to register your client. You've got to be there generally the first time they go in and register themselves. There are some that you can get around that by pre-registering your clients. So if like this weekend I knew my client wanted to go look at new homes and I wasn't going to be available, I might call the new home community and be like, hey, go introduce myself. I may even swing by and be like, hey, my client's going to come by this weekend. I'm going to be out of town, but I just wanted to give you a heads up and pre-register them to make sure that I get credit for them coming by, and make sure that that works with the community. Otherwise, you're going to be like, hey, I need somebody to go with my clients to the new home community. Who can do that for me this weekend to make sure that we get credit for it? You want the stand-in person. Richmond America is usually pretty good with allowing you to pre-register your clients. But that's the only one to my knowledge. And the new homes out in Cheyenne, there's like 39 lots out there in Browns Valley by, I think it's Lennar. They don't pay a co-op at all, zero. So just a heads up. But this is a kind of a fun way, right? Because you can go in there, you can see who the builder is, what the prices are, the square footage. If you click on it, it tells you like this one here, this plan 1779 is modeled. So it lets you know that that's got a model. And then it pulls up the pictures of what the house will look like, the different front things, which I can't think what those are called right now.
Amy,
Elevations, the different elevations.
question.
Yep.
Are we able to market these?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you can even go by the community and be, make friends with the sales agents in these communities, because that's going to work in your favor. And you may even be like, hey, I was hoping that maybe I could come by sometime this week and do a virtual tour of one of your properties. Like, is there one that you're having problems selling or one that you've got available right now? Perfect. Is it modeled? Or, some of those Richmond, like in Dixon, some of those have like 13 different floor plans and they only model 3 of them. So you may be like, hey, where's the closest place that this one's modeled? And then you could go to Sacramento and do a live virtual tour and be like, hey, in the new, Richmond homes in Dixon, this is one of the floor plans. It's not modeled. Here, I'm going to walk you through it so you can see what the difference is from the ones that are modeled, right? So you can absolutely market these listings and promote them. And I would just connect up with the sales agent and just, if you're going to be specific to an area or not. And you want to be careful with new homes because obviously a buyer doesn't need you to walk through a new home community for the most part. So you may want to be kind of vague on which one it is or where it's even located and just be like, look at these new homes that are available. These have huge lots. There's one available right now that has a 14,000 square foot lot. Have you been looking for a home with a large lot? Like, give me a call and we'll talk about whether this could be a good match for you or not, right? So we were vague about it. So they couldn't go find it themselves.
I mean, the benefit to us though, or for them, is that we're representing them and
Yep.
trying to get them the best, negotiate their, I guess, upgrades.
Yeah. So, and new homes are kind of the same as the regular markets right now. They're not doing a whole lot of negotiation on new home builds. They've got wait lists a lot of times. There might be one floor plan that they're having problems selling more than others, but oftentimes it's getting your buyer on the wait list and then keeping them updated of what that is. And oftentimes with new home communities, it's more of a referral situation than a representation. So just kind of keep that in mind. Like they're paying you a referral fee to refer your client to them. The purchase contracts are done on Richmond America's purchase contracts. They're represented by Richmond America, but you're getting a referral fee. So you can help guide them and advise them as they move through that process, but you're technically in like Richmond America's eyes, not their agent.
If I can piggyback to that, there's still my client who bought a new build, we had to bid. So it was still a bit of you didn't just go in and get it at the purchase price that they were listing it at. You had to go in and bid as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And stay on top of the agents there because you'll get lost in the sauce.
And a lot of these homes, these new homes, depending on the builder, it's either the price is all inclusive or you've got to purchase the land separately. I know
Yeah.
Richmond American was doing that out here in Dixon, where you've got a base price of a home, but then you also have the land purchase.
Yeah, and it's not so much the land purchase, they call it a lot premium. So it's usually
A
like
lot premium.
they have their base price, which the base price is going to be what your commission is based on. And then any upgrades or they all have a lot premium. That could be
Thank
like
you, yeah.
$5,000 to like $40,000, and that tacked onto the price.
Crazy. I
So-
think it should all be included, but nickel and
Well,
dime it.
They just do it so that it looks, they can advertise that base price and get people for
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hop off, guys. I'm gonna go to James' meeting.
Oh, yeah, it's
I'll see
James.
you guys later.
Wednesday. All right, we're all gonna hop off.
Bye. Thanks,
right.
Amy.
Bye. Thanks, Amy.
What meeting?
It's the team
It's
meeting.
what?
It's Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Okay, thanks. Bye.